Bobbity boop, here comes Starstruck Fan. How you doing this evening and stuff? We're talking about the lovely Dallas Cowboys and how everything's going wonderful in the world and stuff with the Dallas Cowboys organization, and how we think Jerry Jones is just great at what he does. And we're talking about about Dak and stuff. Clearly, he's still the problem. He wasn't there tackling anybody last week. On defense, hell. It's all about Dak. But what's your thoughts and opinions on the game, Mr. Ron? Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy what you saw?
Well, good evening, everyone.
What's up?
I saw what everybody else saw.
Yeah.
And it was trash. It was garbage. It was horrible. It was all I don't even know what to say. And I'm eating crow, and I know Kyle and I spoke on this. And I came out and I said, I was wrong. I'll admit, and I know Kyle said he wasn't taking a shot at me. And
No, it wasn't at all. No, at all. It was more like the ESPN guys, NFL Network. It was.
If you're a part of this Star Chronicles family, you understand that we treat each other like family. And I know he was not coming at me, but I did want to put it out there that I said I thought things were going to be okay with Andy Dalton, and it was going to kind of be a seamless transition. I don't admit I was wrong.
I don't think anybody completely disagreed with you. I think there was other situations that need to happen for him to be successful. Like the defense was going to have to step up. If the defense wasn't shutting the team down to like 20 points, there's no way that Andy Dalton's going to be able to do anything, especially now because we don't have no offensive line. We don't have any starters on the offensive line right now.
Yeah, I thought Dalton would at least put up 20 to 24 points a game, but to be there with 4 minutes left and only have 3 points, I'm like, oh my God, this is just there was no connection. This guy's just, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Like I said, you just hit on it. That line. I would doubt Zach Martin playing this week. He's in concussion protocol in a short week.
Yeah, he's done.
Your backup. Yeah, exactly. Your backup tackle, night knee surgery. He's done for a few weeks. This is gonna be ugly.
Yeah, man. Well, people are saying, what's the guy's name from Buffalo that just got cut. Everybody's like demanding that we sign. Know our fan base. Anytime someone's released, we gotta sign that player and make it happen, Jerry. Yeah, like it ever happens, especially when you guys say make it happen. Like, yeah, that's really going to happen now. Before people start thinking about that and stuff, riddle yourself why he hasn't played the last 4 games or why he was benched 2 weeks ago. And, ask yourself those questions before you pick up that phone, Jerry, and sign him.
But is he worse than what we have rolling out there with right now? He was starting in Buffalo 2 weeks ago.
But it goes back to the thing that picking him up and investing the money is not going to help any damn thing at this point. If
he's going to be healthy, well, yeah, that's true. But you don't want to get Andy killed.
Yeah.
So why did he get cut?
What?
I hate to do another Rocky Balboa reference, but hell, famous words of Drago: if he dies, he dies. At this point, I just don't care.
Why did the guy get? I missed it on the Buffalo guy. Why did he get cut?
Nobody knows? Nobody knows yet 100% sure. But it goes back to I'm so resentful to some of our fans that have said so many hateful things about Dak. At this point right now, I'm going to be a Cowboy fan to the day I die. But they could lose every damn game right now this whole damn season with all the things that they did and said about Dak. And I would still not give a ticker's damn. I'm going to love the Cowboys regardless, but this is like a curse. This is like some karma crap. This is some spiritual, mystical type stuff that's going on. And I'm telling you, the football guys, I know a lot of people don't believe it, but the football guys have been fed up with like 75% of our fan base probably for the last 2 or 3 seasons. And crap like this is going to continue until we collectively as a fan base get over our damn selves. So I'll say I'll include all of us into the same boat. Yes, Lisa Lee.
The curse has nothing to do with the curse has nothing to do with the fan base. It has 100% to do with the owner, in my very humble opinion.
I don't know.
I would like to talk about while we're on fans, the one, I don't know if you guys seen the one posting with the guy in the stadium that was in tears and he's being consoled by his girl. I would like to talk on that a little bit, and not in a negative way. Yeah, people might say the dude was a wuss and
about that
all kind of stuff like that.
About that shit.
But
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I saw something different out that post though. I felt some pain because I have a son that's never seen the Cowboys win anything. I'm at the opportunity with the age where I was able to witness, a few Super Bowls, but my son hasn't. And I'm telling you, after the last game, my son was literally doing the social media punching air after he was swinging. He was swinging. He was mad. He was like, this team. And he was just going off. He was upset. I had never seen him that up, other than when we had a playoff loss. But after a regular season game, he was furious. And I felt his pain and his struggles of every year thinking, like they joke on us about that, this is the year. There are some fans that really feel that I really want this to be the year. I'm tired of not seeing this team do nothing. And I felt the pain of that guy in the stadium.
Well, see, okay. I mean, I can completely respect that and understand. But my question would be, how old is your son? And how old was that grown-ass man in the stands? I don't feel sorry for that guy because at the same time, he's probably the same dude's gassing up every damn buddy. So feel sorry for your son, certainly. That grown-ass man in the crowd, hell damn, no, I don't. I'm just sorry. I don't.
Okay, but what's going on in the stands with him is no different than us having this discussion. It's just emoted differently.
It just goes to show
this team will bring a grown man to tears.
No, it's not the same. It's just not.
But if you had paid, okay, let me break it down to you. If you paid $500-ish, probably more than that, to go to that game, and you'd spend all day getting down there, getting parked, getting COVIDed, whatever you had to do to get in there, and you saw that product on the field, I would have been yakking my guts up, mad at myself because I had given more money to Jerry's yacht.
Well,
and he deserves.
This is what I'm saying, and you giving me a perfect opportunity to do this, Lisa Lee, and I love you for it. Make sure you click and subscribe to our channel. If you like our content, please continue to follow us, because if you listen to our program, you wouldn't invest that money and you would have been pre-warned, buyer beware, before you went up into that stadium expecting a blowout. Thanks, Lisa. I don't know. It's just rough. I mean, everybody wants a team to win, right? We all want them to win, but if we bring the glaring attention what the problems are, what do you expect us to do? You think it's going to be like rainbows and Lucky Charms every time we're on? I mean, we got to tell the truth. I mean, is there any silver lining to this game? Anything?
Honestly, no. I can't find one.
I will say that Diggs wasn't god awful. He wasn't horrible. He wasn't
awful. Is the silver lining? He wasn't awful, but everyone else was. This team is bad. They are a bad team, the defensive line. It might be one of the worst I've seen in a while. I mean, like in our group chat, I don't remember hearing Tyrone Crawford's name once. Everson Griffin, I didn't hear his name once the entire game. I mean, he was your offseason acquisition. You know what I mean? Poe was an offseason acquisition. Didn't hear his name. It's like they keep on spending money on these bums, and it's like some of the podcasts pointed out today. Look at your free agent signings this offseason. It was Poe, McCoy. It was Clinton Dix.
Really?
It was Everett. It was
really?
Everson Griffin. It's
really?
like
Right. I mean, sorry.
Worley, another one. Yeah. Like, look at those. Those are the free agents you chose to bring in. They're awful. They are awful. What do you? I mean, like, who's doing the talent evaluation here? I mean, it's. Cam Irving. He couldn't start at right tackle. They chose to start a undrafted rookie free agent over Cam Irving. You brought him in too. What is with these free agents? You brought Brandon Carr back, 34-year-old Brandon Carr, for about 2 weeks. There is just a lack of talent evaluation in this team.
Yeah,
it's embarrassing.
What did you have to say, Lisa Lee? I saw you raise your hand up.
Oh, I was just going to say, I did hear Tyrone Crawford's name one time when he was taunting. Who the cornbread hell are you taunting when you are the worst defense in the history of football? Who are you taunting? Yeah. And more importantly, what are you taunting about?
That's the second time I heard his name since the second time I heard his name since the club incident. So that's been like a 3-year span. We're trying to pinpoint, okay, because we agree, we all have opinions about how this team can be fixed. But
not this year.
We'll kick it over to Starstruck. We know Jerry's not going anywhere. So is there anything outside of that can be fixed to make us at least try and get to 7-9 or 8-8 so we can get dumped the first round of the playoffs? You think there's anything that we can do to accomplish that goal so Jerry can say after we make it to the playoffs that we are a playoff team and not fix anything in the offseason?
We really got to analyze Mike Nolan and see if he's really the problem and if there's anybody else that can kind of pick up the torch if we decide to let him go. I don't know if this team just doesn't trust who else is on the sideline, because I'm like, I just can't understand how he still has a job when he's not just doing bad. We're setting records. The Jets got beat by 20 points by the Cardinals the week before, I believe. We lost by 28. 8 more points than the Jets. And the Jets, keep in mind, Jets have not won a game, I think.
Yeah.
And so we can laugh. We're not the Jets. But the Jets
we could have lost
by less points than we did.
Yeah, we could have easily lost by 42 points with the 42 points by the 2 miscommunications by those first 2 series that we supposedly shut down the Cardinals and stuff. I mean, that still cracks me up. But
so to answer that, I think you got to start with Mike Nolan, and I was going to say that you probably got to make a change in the bye week, but I think we are now at week 6. That's 4 more weeks until we have a bye. I don't know if we can wait this thing out that long. We don't have the luxury of having a bye at week 8 in the middle of the season. You're talking about week 10. I don't know if we can hang on that long, but I think you've got to really evaluate that. I saw something that was striking today that said that the last time a team gave up this much points and stuff, it was his team that he was the defense coordinator or coach with, the 49ers, I think. Yeah. And go ahead, Kyle.
Okay, because I think that stat is kind of I think it's meaningless. He was the head coach that year. I did some research. He was the head coach that year, right? His defensive coordinator was a guy named Bill Davis, and it was his first year as a head coach, Mike Nolan. He took over a 2-win team, San Fran, a 2-win team that was allowing in 2004, they were the worst ranked defense. That wasn't even Mike Nolan's team. It was Dennis Erickson's team. In 2005, they were 30th ranked defense, and they were allowing 26 points a game. I mean, he was the head coach. He wasn't the coordinator. We're talking a first-year guy, COVID, and they're allowing. It's the players. I mean, these players. I mean, they're just not good. They are the trajectory of this team has been going this way since last year. Literally, they're like 3 and something in the past 12 games. Yeah. It's the players. Like I said, you weren't on here yet. We had one of them admit 2 weeks ago that he doesn't play hard on every play. He admitted to that. And it's just like, okay, yeah, you don't play hard. They named him a captain last week. He was a team captain. Woods was a team captain last week.
I didn't even pay attention.
That's not scheme. That's not scheme. That's That's the players. I mean, like I said, the whole Mike Nolan thing. He took over a 2-14 team. He inherited that mess. And
yeah,
like I said, so I think
that might be true enough and stuff. But can anybody tell me when Mike Nolan ever had a successful top tier defense when he's been defensive coordinator?
I didn't look up those stats because I looked up when he was head coach. I didn't look up his stats as a defensive coordinator.
I think he was only defensive coordinator. I mean, I might be wrong, but I know he was defensive coordinator for the Falcons, 24th, 27th worst defense in the NFL. Yeah. That was 3. So it has to be something there. It has to be a combination of the two. I mean, we just got some lazy ass players and stuff on the team, and it's unfortunate. And
I start playing younger guys.
Yeah, and it's probably they need to be coached up too. They don't know quite what the hell they're doing. And COVID may have something to do with it too, because they didn't have like regular training camps. But me and Starstruck, and I think Lisa, she's probably been to some too. We've seen practices, and you can kind of see the tail of the tape where the team is going to head. I mean, a couple seasons ago and stuff. That was after the 12-4 season, right? We sat there and we watched those practices, and we just both looked at each other like, this don't look quite right. Something's like slightly off. So, and we ended up, where we were at that year. But
I think it goes back to the culture from the top, because for him, they know that there's no, and part of that's the collective bargaining agreement. I get that, but the collective bargaining agreement does not say that the owner and or COO cannot rip ass on radio the next day and say, instead of being Jerry Poppins, to say, well, and I heard somebody on the fan say, now the Dak injury gave them an out. So no matter what happens, they're gonna be like, well, we lost our starting quarterback. Okay. Not only that, there's no starter. There's no, the offensive line and your starting quarterback all out for the year. Probably. Zach, if I was Zach, I'd be like, my head still hurts.
Yeah,
I'd say that
agree.
all the way to I'd say that all the way to week 16, because they can't prove it. I mean, they can't say, no, he's not seeing double. They don't know what he's seeing.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting my ass handed to me every week because I got kids all around me that, so, but the offensive line is gone. Your starting quarterback is gone. You're all new. All these excuses give this veil to Jerry and Steven to poke their heads in the sand again like nothing's wrong. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to say, so then we're going to roll into 2021, be like, well, now everybody's back. Let's see. Okay, no, because Zach Martin, not Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, there's a high probability he's going to be like, it's time for me to hang him up. Okay, so then you're asking him.
Even if he's not going to hang it up, he needs to be gone from this team. And I love what he's provided to this team. I've loved what he's offered, and everything is not like really a knock on the guy. But at this point in this stage of his career, I'm sorry, that's a business decision. It just is. And
but I want to know how many years, we've talked about how Jason Garrett not being a quarterback whisperer and whatever. Tony Romo's entire career was wasted with this front office. Okay, now you're almost 5 years into Dak's career being wasted by this front office. So like I told y'all in the group chat, I'm not 100% sure that Dak shouldn't have been caught. Well, first of all, I think every game that turns out like Monday night, Dak Prescott's contract goes up exponentially.
Mm-hmm.
And
but the thing is now is that we talked about that window, and what do we agree on? Like the windows, like the windows, like maybe 3 or 4 years if you're lucky. This window's already half there, damn near shut now. We ain't got a lot of time to turn this thing around. I mean, I'm talking even looking into next season. The life expectancy of this particular version of the Cowboys is already almost over. I mean, put that in perspective, and this is going to be Jerry's second regret. He's going to say the same thing he said, what he said about Romo, surrounding him with the right stuff. I mean, so what are we supposed to do, Starstruck?
I don't know. It sounds like, I think as long as Jerry's in this seat, I mean, we're just at whatever it is until he Al Davis is out of here. And as you see now, the Raiders got a coach in. and their back seems to be at least doing better than we are, and they've got our players. That's even worse. They got the Malik Collinses, they got Jeff Heath, they got Jason Witten. They got these guys. They just picked up David Irving. And if
that's going to work out very well.
Winning with the players that we let go, that's going to be very telling.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm telling you, if David Irving comes back and all of a sudden he becomes an all-pro, and so yeah, again, my 2020 has just really been so very, very unpredictable for me, just extremely. That'll be the next thing I'll add to the list after the Great Pumpkin not airing on national television this year. David Irving, all-pro defensive tackle. That'll be my next thing. Playing for a different team.
But even like the players that play in Kansas City now, they were kind of ishy here, and now like Damian Wilson, Anthony Hitchens, they're starting, and not only starting, they're playing lights out.
They're super.
They have a knowledgeable.
Taco's not really playing that bad neither.
They have real GMs. Those teams have real GMs, not a pretend GM. They have real GMs, a real head coaches. Not to say that Mike McCarthy isn't one, but I'm talking about like Garrett. I mean, Gruden, Andy Reid, you can't compare Garrett to those clowns. You can't compare the job that Mike Mayock's doing to Jerry Jones and the guy in Kansas City. I mean, that's Jerry's the problem. He's not a GM.
.com.org.gov.
Is it going to take for him to be on his deathbed to realize, is that going to be his final words? Not yet. Come closer, Steven. Closer. Closer. Not too close. I should have got a legit DM or GM. Or legit DM. No, that's the players from the fans. Sorry, Lisa. I should have got a legit GM. Is that how it's going to end for Jerry?
He'll never admit it. He'll never admit he's wrong.
When he came out, what was that when he had the speech recently where he felt he wasted people's careers or something, where he gave this glamorous speech and we thought he had woke up? Was that Romo when he retired, or when he felt that he had wasted time and we thought that all of a sudden that was going to turn something that
that was Hall of Fame.
Was that
Hall of Fame? I think Hall of Fame, wasn't it?
Hall of Fame year, wasn't it?
Yes, and he said he had made some mistakes or whatever. I thought that was going to be the turnaround that we were going to see, and that we were not going to get the same thing, but we're going through the same thing again. Admit it. How many of us did not see this at the beginning of the season when we said, this defense is not the back end of the defense? I mean, I didn't see it up front. I thought the guys with Gerald McCoy was going to be okay, was going to do all their thing, but I still had some concerns coming this season with the back end of the defense. When we got rid of the Byron Jones, we didn't pick up a safety, because I always said, if we're going to let Byron Jones go, I don't have a problem with it if we bring in a legit safety. We didn't do that, and we let Byron Jones go. So this is what we're dealing with now.
Yeah.
I kind of think when Jerry's hand was forced and he had to get rid of Jason, it almost like it bought him some time to say, okay, now maybe now it's going to work with the way I've been wanting to do it and been trying to do it for 10 years. Now I have another window to try it again. You know, maybe that's what kept him from making the changes like he appeared to in his Hall of Fame speech. I don't know, but it's insanity.
Well, his own stubbornness and ego and pride is what put this team in this situation. He, like you said, he wanted to give Jason Garrett he wanted to give him everything. That's why he bowed and gave DeMarcus Lawrence that extension. That's why he gave Zeke the extension. So Garrett would have no excuses, because he wanted Garrett to succeed doing Jerry's way. You know what I mean? So Jerry could be right about Garrett. And that's why we're in this situation that we're in right now. I mean, those guys are the highest paid guys in the league, and they're not performing. You know what I mean? Because Jerry wanted to do it for Jason so he could be right. So we could take all the credit in the world that he did it his way. Can't pick Jason Garrett. I gave him all the weapons.
Yeah, I mean, you're wasting, like I said, the window's closing because we haven't talked about Cooper and stuff. You guys really think Cooper's going to be here in the next 3 seasons? I don't. I mean, you can go ahead and write that on your list as a hot sports opinion collectively from all of us, so you guys ain't upset like the last receiver got walked out of here. It's going to happen.
You can opt out of his contract in 2021. I did all the research today. In 2021, you can walk away out of his contract. Zeke, you can't really walk away out of his contract till 2022. DeMarcus Lawrence, you can get out of his contract after next year too. You can get out of his contract.
Well,
I would.
DeMarcus Lawrence absolutely won't be here
because he's going to be paid. DeMarcus Lawrence capped it next year is $25 million, then 27, then 29.
Those are the cap hits.
Yep, for DeMarcus Lawrence next 3 years.
So what's the dead money if you cut him?
After 2020 after 21, it's not that much. It's like $5 million here, like $4 million there.
Then he has to go.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I go to Spot Track. It has all the good numbers. Like I said, same with Zeke. Zeke next year will be at $14 million and then $16.5 million in 2022. And then after 2022, you could cut him and not be killed cap wise and dead money wise. And I said, same to Cooper.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna have CeeDee Lamb play as good as he is, CeeDee Lamb is only like 3 yards behind Cooper in the stats. Like I think it's 6 and 7. Give me CeeDee Lamb and give me Michael Gallup. You know what I mean? Like I would give Michael Gallup a modest contract.
Yep.
And then you don't have to pay CeeDee. You don't have to pay CeeDee Lamb for 4 more years. The money wise.
That's what I was commenting in the post, like, or in our feed, like, real quick. That I think Gallup's. I mean, that was before he dropped the ball in the end zone. But I still think that Gallup is safe, and I do think ultimately a year and a half, 2 years from now, that's you're going to see Lamb and Gallup, and we're going to probably end up picking up free agency like some type of slot receiver or something like that. But Cooper ain't going to be here, you know.
Yeah. They did everything. They did everything ass backwards, from signing choosing to sign the quarterback last, a running back first, and a wide receiver in the middle. That is just the most asinine thing I've ever seen in especially when, like, Lisa knows the money wise. What's the tag on a running back for 1 year? $13 million. What's the tag on a wide receiver? $16 million. What's the tag on a quarterback? $31 million. And next year's 37. What are they thinking? I just. And, you know, like you said last week, Lamar Jackson is going to get paid after this year. He's up for a contract. Yeah. That's going to drive up the price. You know,
to me, it's just amazing to me. I mean, I can say that Dak Prescott is so much a bigger person than I am and stuff. You know, I can say that, you know, because me, if I was in the situation that Dak Prescott was in right now, you know, the outright disrespect, you know, not getting a contract, having it pushed off, and these other players picked up and, you know, signing all that. I'd tell Jerry Jones to kiss my ass and go on to another team. I mean,
yeah.
Lisa Lee, do you agree?
I mean, there's so much written into those contracts. He can't do that.
Well, true.
They have the right of first refusal. So the only way that he could tell Jerry to stick it is after next season when they tag him again. I think he becomes unrestricted after the second tag. I think he has the option to, I think he could have this year, he could have not signed the tender, but Dallas still had the rights to him. So it didn't it didn't do him any good. I mean, and $31 million is $31 million, and it's fully guaranteed and it's all paid, and, you know, and the same, I believe, is what happens next year if they tag him again. And honestly, as much as I hate to say it, from an organization standpoint, the tag is the most, it makes the most sense from a purely dollars and cents thing from the organization standpoint. Now, from a goodwill standpoint and a Dak is clearly your leader. No, we were talking today. I don't think it was with y'all, but somebody said somebody needs to have a players only meeting. I said, well, that person blew his ankle out on national television last weekend. So I don't even think he can be in the facility that much because of COVID. And so, like, he's not only your best player, in my opinion, he's your leader. He should be the face of this franchise. And what I'm afraid of is they'll use the caveat of, well, we don't want to continue to do bad contracts. To me, if you had to pay Dak what Deshaun got, I don't think that's a bad deal. But
I mean, it's like I totally understand what you're talking about, Lisa, with the nuts and bolts of what the contract and and the tag and all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, I mean, he's just an overall good dude. If it doesn't, but I mean, don't you think some type of resentment has to like seep in eventually? I mean, what do you think about that, Starstruck?
I don't know, man. This guy is just so nice, and he seems to be taking it so well. I don't even know what the thinking is anymore. That maybe he just feels that I don't know what any of them that come in here and become a Cowboy that I could be the one that turns this thing around and be like a name like Aikman and Staubach and all these other names that went before me. And maybe just feel when I've got that opportunity, this is an opportunity of a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And, who knows where he ends up. It could definitely very well be in a better situation. But I don't know that some people just like that responsibility of just being in the big lights of Big D. And just, I mean, you heard all the players, Trevon Diggs and all these guys, Gerald McCoy, Everson Griffin. I wanted to be here. My dad named me after this guy. They want to be here. He's not really showing that right now. Dak's the only one that seems like he's laying it all on the line. And no knock on Diggs. I mean, Diggs is a rookie, and I think he's doing pretty good. Of course, his skill set is going to be exposed because we just don't have the safety behind.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on it, Kyle? Do you think? Is it just? Dak is just that unique, great of a person, or you think eventually he might end up going to the dark side on this whole thing?
I'm wondering. He could technically pull a Le'Veon Bell and sit out, right? Bell got that tag the second year and sat out, and everyone gave him shit for it. But if I'm Dak, I'm like, I'm rehabbing my ankle. What are you going to do? You saw what happened the last year. That didn't happen to Bell. He's never had more than a hamstring pull. You know what I mean? But I don't think people would fault him if he held out next year on a tag. Okay, I don't think the media would come down on him hard, seeing what happened to him in week 5 of this year. You know what I mean? Like if he did, and if that never happened, they would crush him. The media would crush him. Fans would crush him. But I think now we all have sympathy for the guy. Like we see how valuable he is. You're not going to go out there on your 1-year contract. Like I would, if he didn't, and like you said, Lisa, I could pretty much choose any team I wanted to go to. I could go to New England because right now Cam Newton's going to be gone. I could go to Chicago. I'm better than Nick Foles and Mitch Trubisky. Phillip Rivers is going to be gone in Indianapolis in a year or two. Jaguars, he's better than Gardner Minshew. He has his option of where the hell he wants to go, and they're going to pay him. They're going to give him a money with $100 million guaranteed. You know what I mean? We talked last week about it. This defense, do you know how many free agents on this defense there are this coming up here? They have a complete overhaul in defense. They have all these guys on 1-year contracts or expiring rookie contracts. I'm Dak. Like you said, Lisa, what am I coming back to? And the Starstruck, you're right. Like he could want to be up there with the glitz and the glam of Staubach and Aikman, but he could also look at Tony Romo and be like, wow, they screwed him for 10 years. He got shafted because they didn't do anything for him. You know what I mean? Like, would you blame the guy if he left?
Well,
I wouldn't. And not if Jerry wants to play hardball. I would play hardball right back.
I mean, there's one fundamental difference. They paid Romo. That's the one fundamental difference. I mean, as far as supplying with the talent, they paid Romo. But I got
they didn't build around him on defense.
Who's a passing leader and stuff in the NFL right now? Yards.
RDP.
Still Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, I just wanted to just throw that out there and stuff. Considering he hasn't played for a game and a half or a game or whatever you want to call it. I just wanted to throw that out there and stuff for the naysayers. Because you would like to have those garbage points and stuff now that you claimed it were garbage points for damn sure. I'm sure you probably would.
So Troy,
I don't want to put a knock on Andy Dalton. I mean, I don't think he's horrible, but he's the type of guy you got to have your starting offensive line, and you got to have a defense that's going to stop somebody. He could be a bus driver at best, but if all the other things are not running, there's a difference. with this offensive line, if Dak was healthy and stuff, he probably could still chuck up 44 or 400 yards a game because he's more mobile than Andy Dalton. We've seen that all season. You know, he can shake people and do stuff like that. But you ain't going to be able to get like a quarterback like Andy Dalton with the current state of this offensive line and expect to be successful. I mean, and my one knock on the center, you know, I think he's doing very well, except that his release on his snap needs to be a little more umphed on there because that ball's hanging a little bit and stuff. And Dalton obviously doesn't have enough time to throw the ball. Maybe you can give that guy like another half a second to try and like drop back and throw the ball or do something. But that there's not enough zip on that ball on some of those snaps, I think. That's my opinion. But
Stark, were you going to say something a while ago?
I just don't know. Are we going to discuss Zeke on this telecast? Like, where is he in this thing? Everybody was saying that Dak cannot win without Zeke. Are we going to see a win without Dak with Zeke? I mean, for a longest time, everybody's been saying it's been Zeke's that been carrying Dak. That's why he's been successful because he's been on the field. But we seen Zeke last week look like he was falling to pieces. And granted, that was just one game, but even before that, I mean, can we trust this guy? Is he really missing Dak? What's going on? Because I mean, he was fumbling with Dak was there, but it looked worse. Like his whole performance. And we seen Saquon Barkley he doesn't have as good of an O-line as Zeke. Well, now Zeke has that line. Are we going to now see what he can do to produce?
Well, I mean, the 2 fumbles were horrible. We can't sit up there and say that they weren't horrible.
I think the Dak injury, I think it affected Zeke more mentally and emotionally than he even realized. And he even said, I've never not walked onto the field with 4. And so that does, I mean, we got to also keep in mind, he's 24 or 25, whatever, 23. I don't even know how old he is. He's not 30. I know that.
Yeah.
But like, that's a lot, you know, and they came into the league together. They did their little, you know, whatever when they come out. And I'm not making excuses for Zeke, but the thing I do love about Zeke is he was like, I mean, he's like, I screwed it up. Like I did it. But I liked what he said today too. I know he was getting kind of killed for it, but he was like looking back on it and dwelling on it and being nervous about what is going to happen the next time. He said, that serves me no purpose to keep dwelling. I gotta figure it out. I gotta move forward. And then, you know, and I think he took it a lot. My assessment is, and I could be totally wrong, but I think he took a lot of it on his shoulders for that thing. Like, we're going to win it for Dak. We're going to do this for Dak. And then they, for lack of a better phrase, pooped the entire bed. Like and so I think there's a lot more going on there than just the yips.
Yeah, I think. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm buying this whole because Dak wasn't there. I mean, I looked it up. He's got 7 fumbles in the past 13 games. Zeke, 7 fumbles in the past 13 games. We're going in a stretch of 14 games where he only has 2 100-yard games. He doesn't have 1 this year. You know what I mean? He had 49 rushing yards. I mean, I look at the stats. Pollard, you know, and 10 rush attempts, you know, he finished with 31 yards along with 12. Pollard, he was, I mean, I don't know. I'm so over Zeke. I just think that's the worst contract. Like I said, we're at week 6, and I look at all the top. I look at all the top 5. He's not top 5. He's like 9, I think. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And it's all like it's either rookies or guys who are drafted in the 2nd, 3rd round. You know what I mean? Who are like on modest contracts. You know, he's got 5 fumbles this. He's got 5 fumbles this year. 5. No other running back has more than 2.
I understand your point and stuff. I mean, I really do, and I respect your opinion. But I still personally want him on this team. I'm not going to compare, you know, Pollard to Elliott because I think that's apple and oranges. And if we ended up pulling the trigger on some stuff like that, we're going to get Troy Hamburg all over again. And it's going to be inevitable and it's going to happen. and we're all gonna be looking at each other crazy.
We got shorthanded right now. He's
well, true, but
I mean,
I do
this guy's
like.
he's not doing anything explosive. He's not doing anything.
True.
Zeke is a shell of himself. Besides pass protection, he's a shell of himself.
True, but I like
49 rush yards.
Yeah, but I do like to think. I kind of like Lisa's thought process on it, or what she said, about the things he's saying, because at the end of the day, that's a sign of leadership. I'd rather have a guy take responsibility of the things he messed up on versus a Woods saying that we don't go 100% every play, or DeMarcus Long saying all the stuff he says on a continual week, not caring. So I'm going to give Zeke a little kudos on that, because that's different than what we've heard from other players and stuff on this team. So maybe this might be an awakening for Mr. Elliott. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I think the words are one thing, but kind of as a hybrid of both of those points, it has to translate then back to the field. Now, if he suddenly then goes and he doesn't fumble the rest of the year, and he has out of 10 more games, he has 8 150+ yard games. Okay, cool. Then something switched and cool. But if it's the same stuff, then the words are just empty. I mean, right now it made me feel good because he owned it. But if it doesn't translate, then it.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll have several weeks to evaluate if it's empty. What's your thoughts on that starstruck?
Yeah, I just kind of agree with what Lisa said. We got to see that translate on the field, because we've heard this speech before. We heard it from Jason Garrett. I've got to do better. I got to do whatever, in the speeches. We heard it from Dak when last season, at times when it was like, it falls on me, it falls on me. I mean, it sounds good the first couple of times, but when it keeps falling on you 4 and 5 games down into the season, at some point you go, like, oh, look, man, So I'm looking to see, okay, he owned it. We played we played the Washington football team this week.
I didn't want to edit that out.
And so now, what's going to happen this week? Are we going to see him find a way, to get through the line? If he can't run the ball, you got to get it in his hands. You got to screen it to him. You got to line him out. You got to do all the stuff that we always talk about in training camp that we're going to see. Oh, we're going to see Zeke on the line of scrimmage a lot more. We saw that like in week 1, and we have not seen that really much after the fact.
That's a myth. At this point, it's a myth.
It just hasn't worked. I mean, I think we've seen attempts at it. It's just not working for whatever reason. I mean, it's like I understand exactly what you guys are saying about Zeke, but at the same time, we don't have a damn offensive line and stuff. So,
exactly. He can't line up in a slot. He has to come back and protect. Yeah.
I mean, there's other variables. I mean, it's like, it might resonate, but can we even evaluate, because there's no line.
But that's what I mean. Like, all the injuries now, it's given Jerry and Steven a pass, because they don't have to make any of the hard decisions. They don't have to look in the mirror. They don't have to. It can be rainbows and butterflies, sort of, because the only doom and gloom is, well, we were decimated by injuries, which is all true. But the problem with that I have is, it's not like we're the only team that has multiple injuries and multiple starters out.
And head coaches with minimum OTAs. I mean, you got the Panthers are a game ahead of us, even though it may not look much better. They at least got 500 record, and they got a college head coach with
and Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah, exactly.
Supposedly, but what we have, we can't go with that excuse that we didn't have enough camp and all this stuff here. You got all these other teams like the Browns who are 4-2, despite how they're the Browns. They're still 4-2. I don't care. They're still 4-2. At least they're winning the games they should be. They can't win the games that they really need to be winning, but at least they're beating teams that, we're not even doing that right now. We're losing to teams like the Browns and whoever else, and hopefully we don't lose again this upcoming weekend, but we've seen that.
What you got, Lisa Lee?
We might as well go ahead and make the picks for this week.
Yeah.
So this answer will determine my answer. is Chase Young playing this weekend for the football team with no name?
I don't think
Is he back from Ohio? Is he back from his injury?
I don't know, actually.
I
don't think it matters because
Yeah,
as long as Sweat is there, I think we still got a problem. Sweat's looking better than
for
him.
sure. But if they're both playing, I will say it like I said earlier in the show, we will get beat by a football team with no name.
Yeah, so
and it won't be close.
So that's a thumbs down for you, Lisa Lee?
Okay. Yes, it is.
Where's your spirit, Lisa? Jesus. I'm going to go ahead and say thumbs down, too, because I'm not even going to even give it like a conversation or a long-winded explanation of why we're going to lose, but except that this thing sucks and they need to fix it, and we're going to continue to lose. Starstruck. Come on, let's give us some positivity.
It breaks his whole soul to have to do a thumbs down.
Oh, he's doing a Julius Caesar. Oh!
I don't know how.
I'm like, are we watching Gladiator or what?
I just don't know how, with the stuff coming out, but the guys questioning the coaches, I just don't see how you turn that around in a few days. I just don't know. I don't know.
What player do you guys, what player, one of the two players, or they said it was two players. You guys have any guess on who those players might have been?
I'm thinking Griffin's got to be at least one. And then
That'd be D-Naw.
Yeah,
I think it's D-Naw.
Well, and I don't see Jalen Smith doing this, but Jalen Smith is the first one who came out a couple of weeks ago and said they needed to simplify this scheme. And so
he needs to stop swiping over every simple play he does. That's what he needs to do. Figure that out first.
Well, but then I also think it was it could have been one of the not one of the, well, it could be Xavier Woods, and I think it could be Jordan Lewis because of the way they were tinkering with him, maybe having to not,
Yeah.
It could be Poe. He got benched for a guy that they brought the practice squad that morning. Could be Poe.
Yeah,
honestly. Yeah. I mean, he's been awful.
You mean Pooh?
So Kyle, I mean, we gotta putting all the responsibility on this one on you now and stuff. You know, with great power comes great responsibility. Oh, ability.
Right to the chase.
Like, it's one of those things where, okay, the way I break it down is this: we wanted to, establish the run against the Cardinals and minimize Andy Dalton's mistakes. Andy Dalton finished with 54 pass attempts. They never established the run. Now we're going to go into a game against one of the better defensive lines with a rookie, a second-year guy, a rookie, Connor Williams, and a second-year guy. A third-string guy playing left tackle. I'm sorry. I cannot see us establishing the run. I think it's going to be another one of those games. Andy Dalton is chucking the ball 50 times a game, running for his life. And the defense is just the defense. I can't see. If we only scored 10 points against the Cardinals defense, oh man, I don't know. I don't think they even. I can't see a way. I can't see a way they win this game.
Well, the positive. I mean, the positive at least and stuff. At least it's a potential for a new team. A new rivalry in the NFC East between us and the team with no name. Maybe we can start like a big rivalry between the two teams over the.
Yeah, I shared that earlier. The rivalry is going to be between the letters.
Yeah.
Be the letter rivalry.
Man, this is just like I said. I love the Cowboys and stuff. I'll always be a fan, but they just make it really, really hard sometimes, man.
I'm on the edge of a big breakup.
Huh?
I'm on the edge of a big breakup. How insane am I to keep supporting a product that has been so bad for 2.5 decades? So like, it almost makes me part of the problem because I'm still in. I just went into the pro shop the other day and was going to get 2 things, and $250 later, I'm out in my car going, what just happened? Like,
yeah, but you got to look at it this way though. Cleveland Brown fans do it. All 3 or 4 of the Chargers fans do it. There's other teams in the NFL that have had to struggle even longer probably than we have, but they've sucked ever since their existence. So how did they?
I mean, to go back to they're not worth $5 billion either. Like, you can't claim to be the America's team and put a crap product out on the field every week. Like at some point, you know, and the thing with choosing them, you know, with the picks a while ago, I will continue to pick thumbs down until you show me why I'm wrong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is 2 weeks in a row. We've all went thumbs down. That's not good. We've never done that on this show. We've never done
2 weeks
that.
in a row.
We've never
Against the Washington football team. Think about it. The 1-5 Washington football team.
and
That's
we
sad.
all went thumbs down. That's
sad.
It's gonna be 2-5 leading the division next week.
Yeah.
I don't even think we'll be in the lead anymore. Will we even still be leading?
No, they will. Washington will then, because they'll have
They'll have 2 division wins. And they beat the Giants too, Eagles too. So they had 2-0 in the division. 2-1. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, the Washington.
If they win, aren't the Eagles? Wouldn't the Eagles be like 2-4-1?
Well, they beat they beat Eagles week 1, and they beat if they beat Dallas, they'll be 2-1 because they lost to the Giants last week. So they'll have the best record in the division.
Yeah.
Well, against division opponents. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Well,
go figure.
That's really all I got.
Is it a noon game? I hope.
I hope not. I don't want to wake up groggy and stuff, and just to wake up and be irritated at the end. At least give me the 3 to get my stuff together, Lisa.
Put me out of my misery early.
It's a noon game.
I'm gonna be irritated, rushing to get to Dunkin' to get my coffee, to get back, just to be ticked off, even more ticked off.
Why are you ticked off? You know what's about to happen, especially if Chase Young is playing. If Chase Young is playing, he will have 47.5 sacks in one game. And Andy Dalton might not have legs.
Well, next man up. You know, that's what we say.
DiNucci.
Yeah.
And then who's his backup?
Already called Ben DiNucci.
Cedric. Is Cedric then Ben's backup?
I think technically, yeah.
Oh, yeah. At least
I'm going to have a breakdown. It's going to happen.
You don't think Dalton's going to make it, do you?
Not if Chase Young is playing. He better lay down and pretend like he's hurt.
Are you saying, are you bringing back Drew Bledsoe all over again?
He's more mobile than Drew Bledsoe. I mean, Drew Bledsoe was a straight up statue. I mean, Dalton is not that. I mean, he's statue, but not that type of a statue.
He's
more of a mannequin.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Drew Bledsoe literally had.
You can pick up and transport a mannequin. You can't move a statue. I guess. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the Rocky Balboa statue, they've moved it 3 times and stuff since they put it up there, and now it's like someplace else. So a statue can be moved. So that's the Andy Dalton version of the statue, where it can be moved. Dalton or Drew Bledsoe's the one that's just stuck there forever. Like Mount Rushmore, you can't move it, you can't do nothing with it. So look at it.
You better be mobile if that defense is coming at you.
Yeah, ranked 10th defense in the league.
God, I wish we had a 10th. Did y'all see when they played Philly in week 1?
Oh yeah, I watched it. 8 sacks. 8.
Chase Young and Montez Sweat. Chase Young is as advertised.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice to have a 10th ranked defense on the team? Wouldn't it be nice?
I'd take a 20th rank right now.
You'd actually have to spend draft picks on a high draft picks on a defense to have players to have that. Well, because we only spend an offense. So
I know Jerry Jones has said a lot, but I do remember one other thing that Jerry said, that we weren't going to use any more excuses about injuries after the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
he must have brought that up 3 times in the interview yesterday.
So I don't think we can play that injury card but I know he's with his age, he's probably forgotten that he even made that comment. But he made the comment after what the Eagles did that year with Nick Foles and all those backups they had and won the Super Bowl. He was like, we will not go into next season with any excuses because we are missing a player or whoever or more than that.
But it was the premise of his entire interview yesterday morning.
I mean, again, I mean, it's not a knock on Andy Dalton. God bless him. I know he's trying, but if you ain't got a line out there and you ain't even got like an average defense at best.
At least he had that in Cincy. At least he had a defense in Cincinnati.
Yeah, we went down a list of players and stuff he had on the offensive side too. It ain't like he didn't ever like, wait, you see what does with this talent. I'm like, he's had a little bit of talent in his career.
Yeah.
You know.
The good news is he's used to not playing with an offensive line, so his skill set's built for it because he didn't have that in Cincinnati.
Well, I didn't see a bit of that last week. Maybe it'll change. Maybe we're all wrong. I hope that we're all wrong.
He dumped it off to Zeke, and Zeke dumped it off to the ground. I mean, he escaped the sack, got rid of the football. I thought it was a pretty good Tony Romo-esque type play with the little pitch, and he just got stripped. So he made a play twice.
Andy Dalton's going to watch this show, and he's going to be laying in his bed and stuff looking at the show. He's going to be like, Starstruck said I did something Romo-ish. Whee! I'm Romo. Now you ruined him too. Thanks, man. I'm Romo now. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it was a good play for real. But I don't know. But it was fun talking about. Well, was it fun? I don't know.
It's good to vent.
We kind of vented and aired out what we think about this football team. But we'll see you guys next week and stuff, and hopefully we'll have something better to talk about. It's going to be really, really bad. And I'm just going to tell you guys next week, after I talk about our potential loss and stuff, and I happen to say, instead of saying the football team or whatever, I say like a team that formally begins with R. I'm not trying to offend nobody. I'm just used to it.
Yeah, I still say this. I still say the St. Louis Rams sometimes, the Oakland Raiders. It's one of those things where it's hard to switch up, man.
Because that'll be the next thing next week. They said it 15 times. I don't want to offend nobody. But anyways, thank you for tuning in. Be kind and positive with one another. And we'll see you next week, Star Chronicles. And fist bump with we're all in. Man, how do we seriously? This is just so frustrating. I mean, I think Ron had the highest expectation of the thing this year out of all of us. I thought that would be like around 10-6. I mean, I pray that you're right, that we're still going to be 12-4. So I hope that streak starts starting this week. But
that means we have to win out.
Yeah, I know. So I hope that works out.
Yeah.
It didn't take me long to realize I was wrong. It took me like 3 quarters to say, what have I done? What have I said? And it was captured and recorded on the show.
Yeah. I can make that disappear, man. Don't worry about that. I got that covered. I'll make it right for the beginning of next season when we start fresh. You know. Look at them. They're still predicting stuff the right way. They're still killing it. You know. But I just feel it's like I will never leave. I will never leave this franchise. It'll always be my team. But it's like I mean, Lisa's in this boat right now. She's kind of said what she said about the whole Dak thing. I'm kind of like next to the boat where she's sitting in the boat, and I'm kind of like on the pier, 1 foot on the pier, 1 foot in the boat, where that dude, I mean, when he got hurt, he was sitting there crying. And I mean, I actually did feel, I mean, I know we talked about the kid, the guy crying in the stands and stuff, man, but my heart really just went out there to Dak, man, because that dude has done every damn thing humanly possible to try and make it right with his football team and make it right with these fans, you know, and then that happens and stuff. So, I mean, my heart, I really feel bad for that dude, man.
Well, and I think there probably is some resentment, like you said. I just think his brother Tad is the one that is expressing it. Like, when the whole franchise tag thing went down, Tad went off on Twitter. Now then Dak came back afterwards and was like, basically like, no, it's fine. I understand. It's a business. He said all the things you're supposed to say. But Tad lost his entire mind right after the whole thing went down. So, I mean, Tad doesn't come up with that on his own. I mean, he probably does, but, there probably is some resentment. But Dak is such a professional. Like, he's just not going to let it out.
I'm with you, though, Lisa. Like, if they do Dak dirty, I'll still root for the Cowboys, but I will pray that Dak wins a Super Bowl before Dallas does, just to spite Jerry Jones. And every time Dak plays the Cowboys, I will root for Dak Prescott, just to spite Jerry, because I'll still root for the Cowboys. But when Dak comes to town, if let's say he signs with the Colts, I will be rooting for the Dak Prescott that week if they play. I guess, like I said, and I'll be like, you know what, Jerry, you're an idiot, because look what he just did. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't get that. You wouldn't commit to him. You wouldn't get the pieces around him, and I will be cost this team, this fan base. So, but I'll start for the Cowboys. But I will root for Dak.
I like your option better. Now both of my feet are back on the pier.
I'll start. No, because you're right. Dak, you couldn't ask for a more professional quarterback. You really couldn't. He says the right things. He does the right things.
His mother with the cancer, brother committing suicide, him dealing with his own depression issues, which I think is just amazing. A guy of his caliber, he's the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, and he's up there openly talks about depression. You guys realize how amazing and how meaningful that is to just like normal, just common people like me, So, I mean, I just feel sorry. I feel bad for the guy, But anyway.
I said the exact words yesterday. I said, barring him going to a team in our division, like I used the example of the Broncos, because the Broncos need a quarterback probably worse than anybody. And I said, I will be if it's like the Broncos. Now, there would be some teams, there would be no way I could legit.
Like
of course. The Patriots,
Yeah, Patriots. Not the Patriots, but even the Patriots, and I could almost get behind. But I said, if it's like Denver or even Indianapolis or I don't know, anybody.
The Bears, yeah.
I know
the
that.
The Bears I would struggle with because of my brother-in-law. But
okay.
In Denver and stuff, that higher elevation and stuff, that might put a little lift up underneath that ball. Some of those passes might not be so short anymore. He might be like the second coming of John Elway out there.
Right. But I said to my mom, I said, I will be a blue and orange card-toting, horse on my hat wearing Broncos fan. Because it won't, I was the same way when DeMarcus went. I have never rooted so hard for a human being in a Super Bowl.
Me too.
That I did for him. And I was when I say overserved, I mean to the 15th power overserved in that game because I got so nervous. And so, and
that and the fact that my family is majority Carolina Panthers fan, and I did not want to hear them bragging about the Panthers. The Broncos was harder too. Yeah. They let me down against the Redskins back in the 80s,
but Lisa's right. There's certain guys that are the heart and soul of a team that they're like Jason Witten. I feel Jason Witten's going to go down a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's going to hold almost every Dallas Cowboys statistic and only had won 2 playoff games. You know what I mean? Like the same with Ware. I felt I couldn't feel more bad for those guys that they didn't do anything with Dallas, and they had to go elsewhere to be successful. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be the same with Dak if he leaves. I don't know.
So you think Jason Witten's gonna be first round ballot for Hall?
No,
I think so. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think so.
You think Romo might be there too?
No, sir, I do not. He won't even be on a ballot. Period.
He'll be eligible, but he won't be on the ballot. Yeah.
The best he can hope for is to read Witten in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Dak being injured just slows him down from breaking all of Romo's records and stuff. So you never know. His numbers might still hold up.
Those records aren't as impressive as people think they are.
It's Romo's records within the organization. It's not Romo's records within the league. And there were 2 playoff wins.
Yeah.
Maybe one of them came with that.
You can thank those passing stats for the fact he didn't have Dorsett or Emmitt Smith.
True, but I just think I still go back to the player. If he wasn't a commentator, a renowned commentator. So some people like him as a commentator. I particularly don't. I think he's kind of like irritating. But him still being relevant out there in the limelight, I think that gives him exposure where he probably will get consideration, just because it might be a subconscious thing. Because you see Romo every Monday or every week. Now, if he just retired and never played football ever again, or never did anything else, or commentary, anything, I mean, then that would be something different. But he gets exposure. Exposure might end up pushing you a little bit further than what you guys think. I'm just saying. So I'll be collecting my Red Lobster dinner and stuff when that day comes.
Did Don Meredith got in, right? Did
No.
Don Meredith?
Not to the Hall of Fame.
He was on
Ring of
TV
Honor.
a lot on Monday. He was on TV a lot.
He was on what?
I said, did Don Meredith get in?
I don't think so.
He was on TV a lot. He's even on the Lipton tea commercials for years.
Yeah, but
on Monday Night Football singing "Turn Out the Lights." The party's
over. But can you compare the two with this current state of social media in today? Is it still the same?
I don't know. He was leading the stats at the time. He retired for quite some time before the other people came along. Staubach.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
He didn't have no. Yeah.
I could argue Danny White was as productive as Tony Romo in his career. At least Danny White took a team to how many NFC Championship games against San Fran? I mean, Jesus. I mean, I'm sorry.
Danny White's the enigma in the whole thing. He's probably like one of the most underrated quarterbacks we've had in the history of the Dallas Cowboy organization. All he lacked literally was getting that win to get to the dance.
Yeah.
I mean,
he took over.
If you would have won that game, got to the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl, her whole outlook on Danny White would be completely different.
Exactly.
Danny White's the complete opposite of Tony Romo. Danny White's actually the complete opposite of Tony Romo. Danny White actually had everything. That's why he won't ever get recognized, because he had no excuse. He still had Doomsday, even though they were on the tail end. They were still a legit defense. He had Dorsett at running back. He still had Pearson until he got hurt, but he still had Tony Hill. He still had weapons and everything that you need on that team.
True.
For at least a few years after Staubach left.
And the defense was at that particular stage, they were, I think they were like in the top 10 defense, bottom back end, maybe top 15.
They weren't top 3 anymore, but they were still in the top 10. They still had Too Tall and Jeff Gold and Harvey Martin and all those. Everson Walls was still there. Michael Downs. All those guys were still there. He had the team. I mean, it's evident he was there against the 49ers in the conference championship game. So it's evident the team was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had Danny White pajamas when I was little.
Yeah, me too.
But mine was a girl nightgown though that my grandmother bought me.
Mine too.
Oh goodness.
No, they were like that felt. Remember that felt crap that they used to make for us and stuff. It was like a felt Cowboys like thing and stuff. It was dope then. I loved it. But
maybe 2,000 degrees while you were sleeping.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, I don't even know what time it is, but I know we've been on way too long.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to break this show up into 2 different segments and stuff because it'll be too much to load on my phone. So I'll have to figure that part out too. So,
okay.
But anyways, good stuff, guys. I will see you when I see you.
All right.
I'm going to be busy.
We'll be in touch.
Yeah, I'm going to be busy as hell Lisa knows how the next couple of days end up rolling and stuff between job and then the club nights stuff, and it gets busy. So
why don't you cancel the club nights so you can get some rest?
I'm in full-fledged Batman mode now, so
get some surge, be okay. Some surge.
I'm just giving everything I got until I
take care of yourself, man. Take care of yourself.
Break down and shut down. So
yeah, but you can't. That's what we're talking about. Like you got to pick something. You got to pick a poison because eventually your body will shut you down. So
you got a beautiful family, man, that you're supporting here.
Yeah. Oh, I know that. I mean, I mean, I ain't going out like John Henry. Damn, man, you took it to a whole different damn extreme, man. I'm not trying to build a train faster than a train machine, man. I mean, come on. All right, guys, but
All right.
I'll see you guys later. You guys take care.
All right,
guys.
self-care.
All right, guys. Yeah.
All right, bye.
Bye.